A Plaguelands Media production.
Hey everyone, this is Hugh from Plaguelands Media bringing you another book review today, so cheers. Today I am looking at 7 Years of Darkness by the South Korean author You-Jeong. This author has written a book prior to this called The Boy, which I have, but I haven't actually read yet. I actually picked this novel up in the bookstore at Incheon Airport while I was waiting for my wife to kind of return from a trip overseas. I was wandering through the airport bookstore, saw this, read the back of it, and was immediately hooked. Now, I know that South Korea has fantastic music, they have fantastic films, they have fantastic television programs, and they do have a lot of fantastic authors, but I haven't read as much of like South Korean writing as I would like, so I was really excited to kind of read 7 Years of Darkness, and I am just going to spoil this right now. Holy shit, was this book fucking fantastic. Absolutely loved everything about it, about the characters, about the plot. The whole thing was just this one twisted fucking mess. And it's so worth your time to pick this up and to read it yourself. But if you don't want to read it yourself and you want this whole book fucking spoiled, watch the rest of this video. If not, hit the fucking like button. It helps with the channel. Subscribe to the channel if you want more book reviews, all of that other good stuff. But you know what? Right now, I'm just going to fucking talk about a book that, quite frankly, would be in my top 10 of all-time favorite books. I absolutely loved everything about 7 Years of Darkness. So cheers. And let's just get right into the next episode of
Read a fucking book. Read a fucking book. People.
Now, I can't start talking about this book until I talk about the characters. So let's get into the narrator. The narrator is the character So-won. Everything that happens in this book revolves around So-won, but it all happens, well, a majority of the story happens when he's 11 years old. While he is the narrator, there is also a manuscript that he is given by his guardian, a character called Mr. An, that he has known since he was 11 years old. So we're getting the story from the point of view of the narrator, who's about 17 years old, but at the same time, or 18, but at the same time, we get it through the manuscript. So there's kind of two parallel stories happening at once, where So-won is reading the manuscript, which we are getting, which brings out the crux of the story. It is a very interesting, really unique way of telling what is ostensibly I want to say it's almost a noir detective story, but it's not. It's the characters lamenting on their station in life after this crime has taken place. So it's very difficult to describe. So I'm just going to get into the bare bones of it, and I'll let you take it from there. So basically, So-won's father, Hyun-soo, is a former baseball player who injured his shoulder. He was a catcher but injured his shoulder. He was in the minor leagues, made it to the majors for a very short time. His wife, I believe her name is Unju, she was never supposed to be his wife. So basically what happened is Unju's sister was going to go on this blind date with Hyunsu and couldn't make it. She had something else going on. Unju went on the blind date instead, and Hyunsu and Unju ended up married with a son. It's not exactly love. It's a very tenuous relationship between the two of them. Unsu wants to make her station in life better. Hyunsu is basically just living for his son. As such, he gets a job at as the head of a security office at a dam. Now, he laments the fact that he never made it to the big leagues. He never made it as a baseball player, and so he turns to drink. His drink of choice, of course, being soju, which is Korean rice wine, which if you've never had it, have a fucking sip of it. It's a phenomenal drink. You know what? This isn't soju, but this is bourbon. I'm just going to drink it anyway. Now, his wife, Hyunsu's wife, pushes him. They're going to move to this small town, and she pushes him to go there and see what their house is like. One of the employees is living in the house, and Unsu wants her husband to go and kind of check it out. That employee, of course, is Mr. An, who becomes the roommate of So-won. He still stays living in the house with this family that has moved to this dam, but ultimately he and kind of So-won become really good friends. Now, at the same time, you've got a person working as he's a dentist, but he's kind of wealthy. This guy called Yeonji, and he has set up this conservation society at the dam. The dam is called So-Jeong, and Yeonji's daughter is named So-Jeong. So it's kind of, he has a bit of sway in this community. His wife has left him. They are not divorced, but she has kind of left him because he is an abusive piece of shit. And in retaliation for his wife leaving him, he basically takes his rage out on his daughter and beats the shit out of her constantly, to the point where, you know, she's missing teeth and this kind of thing. It's a very dark and disturbing aspect of this story. So Hyunsu is driving to check out this place, this dam that he's kind of working at. Now the dam is built. We actually have a map of it, of the area in the book, which you can kind of see there, which gives you a feel for the kind of area. So as Hyunsu is driving to this dam, Yeonji has just beaten his daughter So-Young. So-Young wearing her mother's makeup and clothes because she, you know, her mother has kind of left her, is fleeing the house where Yeonji kind of and her live, which is next door to this house that Hyunsu is moving to. Runs into the middle of the road, and Hyunsu, who is drunk at the time, runs her over and kills her. In a blind panic, he takes her body and throws it into the dam. Now, Mr. An, who will be living with them, is diving into the dam to kind of get some ideas because he's a writer, and he is basically in this village that the dam is flooded when Hyunsoo dumps the body, so he comes kind of face to face with the body of this child. And the whole novel, when when Hyunsoo and his family move there, and the whole thing becomes Hyunsoo dealing with the grief and guilt of killing this child. Eunsu trying to work out why her husband's being fucking weird. So on. Kind of meeting the spirit of this girl, so to speak. Mr. Ahn realizing what has happened and trying to piece everything together. And then Young-jae with this sick and demented mentality of trying to piece together who fucking killed his daughter and then getting revenge on them, even though he himself has been basically beating the shit out of his daughter. We get this twisted fucking story of Young-ji trying to solve the crime, Hyunsoo trying to protect his family, Mr. Ahn trying to piece everything together, realizing what happened, and then trying to protect his boss, Hyunsoo, and so on. Eunju trying to find a way to leave her husband, and then ultimately kind of realizing that something is desperately wrong. She talks to her sister all the time. It's a fucking mess of broken characters that have come together in the wake of this enormous tragedy of this child, this 11-year-old girl who was hated by her peers at school, didn't know why her mother left her, and is just relentlessly beaten by her father. And then when she ultimately dies, just what happened, why it happened, how it happened. It's a difficult read in that respect, in the sense that this fucking child, and to be fair, you've got the child that passes away, Seryong, that gets hit by the car, but then you got So-won, who for 7 years, no matter where he goes, and he is protected by Mr. Ahn, who takes him in, and then they move from town to town, and he goes from school to school and whatnot. And every time he goes to school, people are given this article about his father. Now, this is important. His father is accused of murdering his mother. His father is also accused of opening the dam and flooding the village that they live in, which ends up killing people, as well as 4 police officers that were trying to go there and stop it. So everywhere he goes, he's the son of a murderer. Did his father do these things? Yes. His father opened the floodgates of the dam to protect him, So-won, because Young-ji, suspecting that his father killed his daughter, decides to take revenge. Did he kill his wife? Did Hyunsoo kill Eunju? And kind of in the scheme of things, no, he didn't at all. But he still is a murderer. Young-ji, of course, is also a murderer, because Young-ji ended up killing someone's mother. We get this through kind of backstory. But Young-ji is such a fucking psychopath in this book that he plans his revenge for 7 years. 7 years he tortures So-won. The point being that Hyunsoo is on death row. And when Hyun-Soo's sentence is kind of passed down, and when he's given the date that he's going to be executed, and in the book, when he is ultimately executed, that is when Yongji decides the father is dead, I'm going to kill the son at the same time. It is a 7-year plot of revenge that Mr. Ahn is trying to protect someone from. He suspects this is going to happen. He is in contact with with Yongji's wife, who is living in France. And this whole book is basically the beginning and the end is a revenge plot, and the middle is why that revenge plot is taking place. And holy shit if it doesn't fucking work. This was one of the best thrillers I have ever read. And the characters are well-rounded. They're not one-dimensional. Hyun-Soo has his guilty secrets, which kind of stem from his childhood, which we actually read about. His wife has her kind of foibles. Yeonji is just evil. So-won is back and forth with, I loved my father and my father tried to protect me, but I don't understand why he's in prison. Mr. Ahn is trying to protect So-won and at the same time working with Hyunju. This whole thing is a fucking masterpiece of thriller prose. I'm just going to say it right now. The truth always rises to the surface. That is what is written on the back of the book. I absolutely loved every second of this. I think You-Jeong, I'm looking forward to reading the first novel, The Boy. But this was so fucking good. I cannot recommend this book enough. That is 7 years of darkness. Now, I left a lot out, so, you know, if you've watched the video this far and I've spoiled the whole story, no, I haven't. There's still stuff in here that you're going to read and love, but oh my Lord, you would do yourself a service reading this book for yourself. Absolutely fantastic. Just a phenomenal read. So, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to say cheers, everyone. Please have a fantastic rest of your day. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, leave a comment, do all the good stuff. Videos come out, well, weekly now that I am back at work. But most importantly, go out there, read a fucking book, people.